stage, someone stopped me and told me my fly was down. It could have been disastrous. I was so thankful.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? My name is Jay Whitaker from Geek Show Podcast. Everybody good? I'm sitting here with, you guys all know him. Ladies and gentlemen, make some more noise for Mike Colter. Let's just let him hear it. Welcome to Salt Lake City. How do you feel?
I love it, man. I'm actually having a great time. It's nice because people go out, are having a great time. And I spent a lot of time in New York and LA. Those are very big cities and they have a lot going on. So for me, a great time is to do little of nothing. You know, this is a great place to enjoy some good food. The weather's great. I'm staying in a nice hotel. You guys are great. I have no complaints.
So, I mean, obviously, we'll get right into it. You know, let's talk Luke Cage. I mean, we all love Luke Cage right here, yes? Sweet Christmas. No, that's true.
Money!
No, so, are we done? I mean, like what?
I don't know.
Yeah, I know it's kind of a difficult question to ask because it's just there's so much going on with what happened, how the season ended, and then with Disney Plus and all and everything else going on with Marvel.
Yeah.
Did you get snapped? Like what happened?
We were greenlit and we were supposed to be in production months and months before the announcement that we were not going to go forward. It just surprised everybody. I mean, I think I was less surprised than most people because I was kind of close to it. I was hearing some talk and things weren't making sense because just the dates kept moving and stuff. And anyway, I would say, look, things happen for a reason. And if you leave wanting more is better than overstaying your welcome. That being said, I think we have another year to really kind of like tell the story and to sort of tie things up a little bit. But there's hope. I mean, I read things like you guys read. I don't have any inside information other than the fact that those contract will be up, and at some point maybe it'll be available for someone else to pick up. And there's a lot of takers out there. When this will happen, I don't know. Will I be too old? I don't know. Will I be available? I don't know. My phone is on, so if someone calls, I'll listen.
As far as like the seasons go, like was there a season 3 at least planned? Like
yeah, we had like I think 5 or 6 episodes. The scripts were written, so it was definitely green. But I mean, everything was moving in order. We were working towards the goal of starting production. We just kept getting delayed for different reasons. We had intentions of doing it. Yeah.
Sorry. Well, hopefully, I would love to see how everything plays out because is everybody caught up on the show right now?
Oh, it's okay. We can just tell them spoilers.
But that how it ends and we see you in that suit, at the end with that look, that gave me life. That moisturized my skin, it gave me confidence for these 3 weeks. Everybody's like, what happened? I was like, man, season 2, man, it was on fire. So, what as far as now it seems that Luke Cage is kind of switching on to he's in a middle ground there. It seemed like he was having a conflict of interest. Like, all right, he's got to run Harlem, but also is he the good guy? Is he the bad guy? Trying to do the right thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that there's ever a character that's interesting that's always one way or the other because there's always a gray area in everybody's life. I mean, if everyone was on being videoed 24/7. Throughout the day, I probably would think that most of you might have more bad moments than good moments. I mean, if you think about what we show as a character, most people are inherently good. I do feel that way, and I have evidence of it. People return wallets when I lose it. That's a great thing. People find things and they bring it back. That's a good sign for humanity. But I think we have moments where we do stuff that it's like, hey, nobody's looking. We might take that grape from the grocery store and we taste it because we want to make sure it's sweet. Then we take another one and we go, oh, it really is sweet. Now I take one more and I go, you know what? I don't want to buy the whole thing. I'm just gonna walk away. Now you took the grapes and you tasted it. You did it. And I know you guys have done this. You tasted the fruit and you walked away. Now you tell me, right or wrong, was that fair? No. Right? So you're kind of great people, aren't you? Really? You think about it. You're not all good. You're not all good. So that's how I look at everybody. Every character sort of like in the middle somewhere.
Yeah. Basically, I'll say this. I don't speak for my entire culture, but I will say, for me, your character, Luke Cage, is like a black Captain America and it was very inspirational to see that. And it's what it did that responsibility become like? Did you feel like you just walk into certain areas and everyone's like, oh, all right, yeah. Did you get uneasy at times?
Well, no, I mean, I never changed anything about myself. I mean, there's a burden of, sometimes people, I never changed myself. I knew that at some point when the show dropped, it was changing, my life in a certain way. I started wearing a lot more hats, I got a lot more shades, I never leave home without some sort of, a hat or shade. I just feel like at least gives me some sort of like cover, like maybe, oh, is that, oh, he's gone. So, I do realize that people recognize me a lot, so I just kind of cover up a bit more. But I'm the same person. I don't think about it from a standpoint. I think I'm not a superhero. I'm a guy who played a superhero, and people see me. I know it brings back sort of a feeling for them. Much the same way I had a feeling when I met Bruce Lee's daughter a couple weeks ago, and I was doing a radio tour for this other movie called Breakthrough that's out in theaters now for you. Faith-based film for a family. You guys want to go check that out? Please do. So yeah, it's I get sometimes reactions like that when I see people that I admire. So I understand what it is, and it's cool.
What was some of the kind of piggyback off that? What was some of the people that what were some people that you saw like, oh snap, like
well, like
you got excited? Do you still get starstruck? Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's not starstruck so much as it's just a feeling of it's like I think when I first moved to LA years ago, the first celebrity I saw was Magic Johnson. He was eating at this place called Good Earth Cafe, which is not there anymore. Now it's in Granville, which, trust me, it's a better restaurant. I'm glad they did that, actually. That food was awful at the Good Earth Cafe, awful. It was the kind of food that when you got it on a plate, you could put it in a blender and just blend it and suck it through a straw, and you didn't miss anything. It was the same flavor. It was the same thing. It's like hospital food. I don't understand what was going on there. It's like the place you go when your doctor says you're almost, something's wrong, and you should just eat really healthy food and no flavor. That's where you go. It's like hospital food. I don't know what's going on. But I saw him there, and I just got to LA. I've been there like 2 weeks, and I was like, wow. And I did what most people would do to somebody like me who, and I didn't think about it, but I was like, I gotta go say something, because I felt like it was like maybe I'd never have a chance to see him again. And oddly enough, I've never been around him enough to go talk to him again, but I've seen him, at a distance, but I've never met him since then. And I went up and he was very nice. I told him, I just moved to LA, and I told him I was an actor like everybody else. And I was hoping to do great things, and he was very kind and very gracious, and he gave me and he signed something back then, and I held on it for a very long time until I lost it. Don't ask me where it is. But he was really kind and said good luck about it and everything, and that was that. But I haven't done that since, but I'm a Laker fan, so that was huge for me. Yeah, Lakers, we'll talk about it later. Lakers, we got it's a whole other conversation. But yeah, so I get that feeling when people do that, and I was at the All-Star game actually was a month ago or something like that. I played that Celebrity All-Star game, and so I was there for the weekend. Got a chance to meet a lot of great basketball players, especially the ones that I watched growing up. Like Shaq and KG was there, and I think I saw Rasheed Wallace there. Kenny Jesmith and D. Scott from the Orlando team. So I saw a lot of basketball. Gary Payton, the Glove. There's so many people there. Bill Russell. I was in awe because I love watching basketball, and I love seeing the players, and I love seeing it actually live. Courtside. It's great. It's great.
Right. Thank you. One of my favorite things about the show also was that the fact that each episode title was a throwback to hip hop, and with Luke Cage, Harlem. African American culture, like it seemed like the show was very centralized in that golden age of hip hop. I'm going to assume you're a Southern boy, but also went to Rutgers as well. So you grew up on the East Coast. Big hip hop fan, or did you help curate that playlist?
No. That's beyond my scope of musical, understanding. Like J.O. is on another level of library. He knows all these people. He wrote for Source magazine, Vibe magazine. He has a real sense of what works and where to place it. And then he hired, Ali Shaheed Muhammad and Adrian Young, who they were composing. They were composing music. When I had it on my phone, I just downloaded the soundtrack from season 2. they're composing music for every scene of every moment of the episode. So it's like the scores are in there. Then we combine that with real artists like, one of my favorites, Gary Clark Jr.
Yeah, he's coming out here soon.
Awesome.
Go see Gary Clark Jr.
Awesome. I saw the concert, man. It's dope.
Amazing.
He's dope. He's amazing. And people like him and I think it was Ziggy Marley. I remember which Marley we had. We had a Marley. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Steve Marley. Steve Marley was there, and he had this other artist that when they come and perform, it's like we had Ghostface from Wu-Tang Clan. That combined with that is just awesome. There you go. Ooh, you know what I'm saying?
For the children.
For the children. So yeah, that whole thing is another animal altogether. And those guys did a great job, and I had nothing to do with that.
So now what's next? I mean, I know you got a lot of projects in work. I mean,
Yeah.
you clearly established that you can play. You have a lot of range. And as far as do you see yourself in the DC universe? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's happened before, right? People have done it. I don't think about, I don't think about it, that way. I just kind of go about my business, and if something presents itself. I wasn't thinking about Luke Cage. I mean, when I got this job, the only thing that happened for me was I was kind of consciously making an effort, and I saw this clip that I hadn't seen in a long time. I think it was a clip from The Good Wife. And I haven't seen that. I was like, oh, look at that jacket. The jacket's dope. I love the way they dressed me on the show. Like, oh, this is a great show. So I saw that, and when I was doing stuff like that, I was like, I need to kind of get to action a little bit. Not that I was an action guy. It's not like I'm a martial artist or anything like that. And I'm not the most physical guy. I work out, but I don't gravitate towards physical things because for me, I'm like, it's not my wheelhouse. It's not what I love to do. But I like changing things up. I like to be diversified. I don't want to get bored. I got into acting so I can do different things. And I was like, I want to do something action oriented. So when the Halo option came along, which was something that was produced by the Scott Creed team, who also produces The Good Wife, when David Zucker called me and said, hey, we want to talk about this project. I was like, okay, this is a way to get into that sort of realm. Like, so this will be like an invitation for other people to go, hey, he's in action. Maybe we can do some action with him. And then after that, Luke Cage came along. So it worked out. I didn't realize it was going to be a superhero opportunity, so it happened, and I was really happy for it. So yeah, now I'm looking at other things, like a couple projects. Obviously, I said Breakthroughs in the theater right now. There's a movie called Fatal with Michael Ealy and Hilary Swank. Michael Ealy's got something in the theaters right now called Intruder with Dennis Quaid and Megan Good. So that piggyback of a Fatal, that's a kind of a thriller. I play a character that's kind of, I'm not gonna tell you too much about it, but it's an interesting character. Then another movie with Deion Taylor directing that again. It's called Black and Blue right now. And we come to New Orleans. That's a really cool one. I'm playing a New Orleans gangster. So it's a cool part. I think it'll be people find it fun. Naomi Harris is in that. Frank Grillo, who's also in Captain America. Remember Frank Grillo? That cool elevator scene with Captain America. It took like 2 days to film that. It was awesome scene. Naomi Harris, obviously, from Moonlight and stuff. So we got a great cast. Tyrese, who's doing another DC project right now. Morbius, or Marvel actually, another Marvel. So great cast. So projects are coming up. I filmed a CBS pilot called Evil, which is we're waiting to hear whether it's going to get picked up. Fingers crossed. Supernatural phenomenon, unexplained, sort of X-Files feel to it. Really cool script, and the Kings from The Good Wife wrote that. So things are going well. I'm happy for the opportunities.
Well, it sounds like you're working with you're working with people from your past, and Hilary Swank did $1 Million Baby. You don't work out much, man. You worked out for that one. Like he was cut.
Well, I was boxing. Boxing is a great way to get in shape, man. I gotta tell you, really changes your body really fast. Really does. And if you really want to get in shape, just keep punching the heavy bag because it's not going to go anywhere. It doesn't move. You just keep hitting the heavy bag over and over, and it helps a lot.
Right. It's funny that you mentioned the Halo Nightfall. Are you guys familiar with it's Men Block, and that's where I actually, you don't remember, that's fine, but I met you at another convention in Southern California. And, at another convention in Southern California. Okay,
all right.
In the southernmost part of California.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Anyways, moving on. Stay classy. And so I met you at that convention, briefly at the Xbox party that was there.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Aisha Taylor was there.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I saw, because I recognized you from from Million Dollar Baby, and I was like, yo, that's the guy.
Yeah.
You kind of got rocked on that, like, no disrespect.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but it was like, and so to watch you go from that and to come all the way this far, brother man, I'm like really happy for you. Like you're a very humble dude. I can tell you work hard, and so like to watch your growth is awesome and amazing. So thank you. You know, it was very inspiring. That's great. Do you think you, because there are some Halo projects in the works, do you think you'll be reprising any of those roles or anything like that?
You know, I love the opportunity to work with Halo, and there's a big element between trying to collaborate with for a project like that. There's the Halo of it all, which is the Microsoft. It's a video game first and foremost. Trying to bring something like that into an action, live action thing is always daunting. We shot that in Iceland and Belfast, and it was really cool. But what I would love to do is, if I got a chance to do something like that again, is like, you know, fans of video games, when you want to have something that's brought to live action, what I think the hardest part about it is that it's sort of like the same problem with Luke Cage. We had Luke Cage. There's a comic book aspect that everybody was familiar with, and so that's where your bedrock. That's your IP. That's your audience. That you got. They know the character. But then how do you introduce this character to the masses? Because it's not a niche audience, but it's not really it's not like a cult. What do you call it? Culture, culture. Yeah.
Cult classic.
Exactly. It's not that. It's bigger than that. But what you're trying to do is you want to keep the fans that are loyal, that know this project and know that, but you want to also introduce a larger audience. So when you do that with anything like Halo or Luke Cage, you have to find a way that's sort of in the middle that does pay homage to those people who understand it, on a very specific level, but then people who have no idea what you're doing. You can't bring in everything all at once trying to inundate them with video game jargon and all the other things that are specific to people who play the video game. Because if you do, people are gonna get lost. So I think if we did it again, I'd love to be a part of it, but make a movie that it's just like any other movie you go to the theater to see. It's about the characters, about the interactions and the relationships between the characters, and less about the trying to fill in the people, fulfill the people who are just the video gamers. Because I think the video gamers have the video game. If you want to see the movie, then we have to be able to expand a little bit on that whole premise, and that's what I love to see them try to do.
Right on. Going back to you, let's talk about how you came into acting. I mean, in general, like that's always from South Carolina, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like you wake up just one morning and you're like, I want to be an actor. Well, like what was the show that you watched?
That's kind of how it was. I mean, I literally was like, when I was 8 years old, somewhere around that time, I literally had an epiphany. It dawned on me that this is what I want to do the rest of my life. And it was an early time to have that happen because there was no way to like figure out, there was nothing to look at and go, this is how you get there. I mean, small town, South Carolina, it's just, I can't tell you. I was growing up, I was on a dirt road. When you're on a dirt road, you just go, you don't even know what a city looks like. Everything I saw was, what happened to me, I think in 1980, around that time HBO came around, and so when we got HBO, I think I got HBO when I was probably like 6 or 7, and so when we got HBO, one of the first things I saw was the Ali fight with Larry Holmes, which was very depressing because I heard so much about Ali, but it was a fight that shouldn't have happened, but it was later in his career. So I started watching things like that, and I saw all the movies that would come through the theater coming to the HBO, and that's kind of how I got my entertainment because we didn't go to movies much. It was the next town over from mom, we didn't go to movies much, so I watched everything on TV. So I remember sitting back and I was watching all this great content, and I started thinking to myself, I was a class clown, I'll be honest. And if you ask anybody from back then, if I was going to be an actor, what I was going to be, they'd probably say Eddie Murphy kind of thing. That's what they would think. They would think I'd be that kind of guy. But as I got to the understanding of acting, I kind of wanted to do things that were as far from me as possible. So I still have yet to find characters that really are close to me. So I like that. That's the craft. The craft is always finding something that not really like you. That's the challenge. That's the challenge. That's what acting. That's what's so great about acting because you're acting. You do something else. I don't want to do me, I want to do something completely different. And then when I get bored with that, I want to find something to do something that's closer to me or change it up. But I did have that epiphany. I did a couple plays in high school, and I started a drama club. I waited, 8 years old, 10 years later, or something like that. I'm thinking about how to get myself involved in theater, and I started a drama club, and we did a couple plays, and I saw the reaction, of what happened when I did it, and I felt that rush, and I was hooked. I was already hooked, and I was really hooked. I was like, oh, I think I can do this, and I started thinking about how to go about the next step. For me, it was college. It was like, I still think college is a great thing. I don't think we should have to pay for it. Not as much money as we pay. It's still, I think, the key to getting your foot in the door and to honing whatever craft you have. If it's not college, some school, some associate degree, some apprenticeship, you have to train in whatever you're doing because you can't just wing it. You can't just go out and wing it. So that's what I was doing. I set a course of high school. I said, okay, I'm going to go to a college, and then from that college, I'm going to go to a grad school, and then I'm going to find an agent, and that's exactly what happened. I did that whole thing, and then I found an agent. And along the way, everybody, I would really like to say that no one said I couldn't do it. Everybody has the stories about, everybody said you couldn't do it, and that's great because it gives you motivation. You're like, oh, I can't do it? Oh, I'll show you. I didn't have that. I had everybody going, oh yeah, I can see you doing that. And that was all I got. Guidance counselors in high school, oh yeah, I can see you doing that. White, black, didn't matter. Everybody said that. My mom was like, oh, I can see you doing that. And everybody started kind of planning that would be my case. And so at some point, I think for me, as I got closer to trying to achieve my goal, it was very frightening because when I really got out in LA and I started to see what it was like, I was afraid because it wasn't that easy. I didn't see it. It wasn't happening as easy as I thought it was going to happen. I was prepared for it, but it was very frightening because I didn't want to let people down. That was really what it was about, letting people down. At that point I was like, people thought I could do it, but then I didn't, but can I? You know what I mean? And I spent a lot of time, a lot of years trying, working and grinding and doing the day jobs and all this stuff. But having support, because people thought I could do it. I didn't have people going, you can't do it, but then I had to prove to myself, like, well, wait a minute. I thought I could do this my whole life. This is what I thought I was meant to do. And then, took a minute.
Dang. What was the worst day job you ever had?
Oh boy, I got a lot of them. Pick one. Worst day job, define that mentally or physically. I don't know which one.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Listen, I would say, I worked for a group home in California for about a year. And it was a rewarding job in some ways because I got to see kids who were going through a lot of things that they should not have gone through and not had to have endured, and opened me up to understanding how fortunate most people are who don't even understand. When you're young, your formative years, that really defines you for the rest of your life. If you have a bad childhood, it's very difficult to have a great adult life. So I work with young men, boys who were the ages of like 11, 12, 13. All of them were from foster home care, parents who were drug abusers or born into this situation. Some of them were in prison, didn't have families they could go home to on the weekends. Some of them, a handful, would go home. The rest of them would be there if you drop them off, and they would be sad watching their friends go home for the weekend with a family member just to get away so they could have a connection with someone. I spent a year doing that. That was tough. While I was doing that, I was hustling. I did a job called Labor Ready. Labor Ready. You might heard that. So one guy's like, hey, I heard of it. It's sad. It's a tough grind because you show up early in the morning with your ID, and the only people that are doing that job usually are ex-cons or drug addicts because you basically show up with an ID and they take you to a manual labor job for the day. It's an 8-hour job doing something. They don't know what. It's like people come from a company and they go, we need some workers. You could be shoveling poop, you could be picking up garbage, you could be painting walls, you could be stocking shelves, you could be any number of things. The good stuff is always indoors, okay? That's what I learned. The good stuff is indoors. Anything that's got climate control. I was in the desert one time picking up rocks, I think. I'm not kidding you. I was like, what am I doing out here? The guy took me out to those places where they're developing a bunch of houses, and they're just like surveying the land and leveling off and all that stuff. There was nothing out there. It was like 110 degrees in Simi Valley. I was out in the middle of nowhere. There was no cell phones. I literally had to go walk to a phone booth like about a half a mile to go call my wife and tell her bring me some lunch and tell her where I was. Back then there was no GPS, so I had to give her the directions. She had to go on a thing called Thomas Guide and look to see where to find me.
Thomas Guide.
Oh my God. It was rough. It was rough. And I worked all that day, and I think I cleared I netted like, what, $50? I mean, my days, they were tough. I think we were both, I think I was getting by on Trader Joe's. I think we were doing
It's
Trader
not
Joe's.
bad.
No,
Trader Joe's ain't
no,
bad.
but $50 for the week for groceries. That includes alcohol. Okay? That includes alcohol. If you're gonna have any, you get a bottle of Barefoot and you sip it. You sip that Barefoot. Okay? And good thing I didn't eat that much, so I get buzzed pretty easily. I didn't have much food in my stomach, so it was like, it was tough. But I had a lot of times. I had restaurants. I worked in so many restaurants, man. Oh God, I did telemarketing for a long time when I was in college. I did that. I did aeration, lawn aeration. Did that for a bit. I did grocery stores. I bagged groceries for a minute. This was in high school. I did vendors. I did that for a minute. Man, I did a lot of jobs. I can't remember all the really bad ones. I think I blocked a lot of them out. I think I blocked some of the really bad ones. I think I blocked them out because who wants to talk about it?
Exactly. Well, what was it like because I have friends that are actors and comedians, and so there's that moment where you get to quit and commit. You know, like you quit all your other day jobs, and now this is your thing. And what did that feel like when you got that first check? You're like, bye forever.
It wasn't that clear for me. Like it didn't happen like that for me because when I started getting successful, I wasn't like everybody else. I wasn't like, oh, I'm rolling now. You can kiss it, I'm out. I didn't do that because I was always like, I was like, okay, this is good, but let's see. I'm always a wait and see kind of person. And I wasn't in a hurry to quit my day job because I learned, I was in college actually, I transferred colleges from one college to another, and I remember thinking I was going to transfer. So I was kind of telling all my professors at this other college that was a little smaller to kind of kiss it. I was a little arrogant because I was like, oh, I'm going to the big school, this will be great guys, but I'm out of here, I'm going to go work on my theater degree, and da-da-da. And I was feeling myself a little bit. And then I did something wrong and I didn't apply for something, a deadline passed, and something happened with my credits. So I had to come back for another semester.
Ooh, that was a long walk.
Yeah. So I was like, I was a little tail between my legs because I felt like I was kind of, feeling about myself a certain way, but I didn't realize that, you never know. You never know how things are gonna work out. So that taught me a lesson. And I just never was that kind of person. So I worked my day job, and when I started working, I would just hold my shifts and give them away. There was always somebody who wanted my shifts, so I would just give them away because that was best for me. So I would work a few shifts here and there, but most times I would just be in and out, go away for a few months, and I kept that day job for I don't know how long. I probably quit that job probably like I was 32, something like that. I literally because by that time it got to the point where my goal was the job needed to be quit. I only quit the job when I could not do it anymore. Like that was going to be physically impossible, or I just couldn't come back. And so when I got a job and it took me out to LA, I was living in New York. I had a series that was shot there, and that's when I quit. I should have quit a few years earlier, but I dealt with it. People come in the restaurant, oh, I loved you watching on TV last night, and I'm taking their order. It's not the best situation, people are like, going, I love your show, I saw this movie, but I'm working in a restaurant. I dealt with that. It was fine because for me it's like an ego exercise. It's like okay, yeah, you saw a movie, okay, that's great. Now what do you want to drink? This is it.
Let's get that Barefoot.
Yeah, get that Barefoot. That's Barefoot.
Real slow.
Well, let's serve Barefoot. I couldn't make any money off of that. Don't work at a restaurant and serve Barefoot, man. Don't do that.
So the long journey, and obviously you still have more projects that you're working on. Do you see yourself producing, directing, or anything like that?
Yeah, I definitely have ambitions to do that, do both. I was hoping that if Cage would have gone another season, I would have gotten a chance to direct an episode. But I definitely feel like that's something I want to get into. I spend a lot of time hanging around the camera, behind the camera, talking to people, picking their brain, figuring out why they choose things, how they do things, why, how long the preparation is. And until I go on a prep and do what the director does for about 2 weeks prior to starting a project, or months actually, if you're talking about film, I won't know for sure how good I can be or if it's right for me. But I'm gonna have to take that journey, and if I fail, so be it. Because a lot of people try this and they're not very good at it. Some people are very good at it. You just never know until you try. So there's nothing wrong with trying it.
Well, we need more black writers.
Yeah, well, we need more black writers.
Yes,
writers.
Yes.
Yeah, writers is where it's at. Get the writers, then we can be the rest of it.
I can sit here and talk about this for hours, but I know you won't. But it's just how does it feel to be a person of color with this show, and just what has it done for what do you see it doing for the culture, and what do you see it doing for black writers, black and just not just black culture, but just people of color in general. You know, what do you see the next step in Hollywood? Is it because I don't want this to be the flash in the pan where it's just like, oh, we did the black thing for a little bit. You know, what needs to happen next in Hollywood?
Well, you know, I never thought about this as being like, well, you know, specifically something like Luke Cage is interesting, but it's a Marvel product. But when you talk about like the things, because I mean, I'm under the impression that though we have said that there's a lot of content that needs to be put out, every time you look back from the 80s and the 90s, there's always a time when you look at the shows. We had a good run. There was always these shows that were on the air, that, you know, like whether it's Family Matters or whether it was Rock, you know, obviously Cosby, I know people, you know, they had their feelings about that, or, you know, the Jeffersons, the Good Times, you know. There are these times you look at shows and you go, you know, there's a great, you know, 227, there's shows, you know, that people, I don't really forget about them, and I don't know if they think, well, it's not enough shows, you know, Sanford and Son. I remember there's a lot of, you know, shows that we've done, and I think we'll continue to do so. Now there's more platforms. I think there'll be more content, more than ever. But I think it's sort of innate in us that everybody says, well, there's not enough shows. Because I look at television, I think there's not enough Asian shows. That's just me. Like, there's just not enough Asian shows. Like, I know a lot of Asian people. I don't see a lot of representation on them, but, you know, on the shows. So Netflix just came out with something really cool, actually, with the Asian lead, and Mustafa was actually in it. So that's going to be cool. I can't wait to see that. Comes from
Cowboy Bebop. That's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, it looks good. But yeah, I think specifically going back to the Cage thing, the only thing I really feel like with that was really specific that I think sometimes people look at it, it's like an Obama effect. It's like you look at this thing and you go, wow, this is an upstanding role model. This is an upstanding thing that this is being done, but that's not us. And I go, well, who are we? Like, what is us? If we go, that's not us, then what is us? Because for me, I go, us is also, there's the moment of the jazz era. You know, we talk about music influence in the culture, all Renaissance. Now we have a music influence that I feel like, you know, it's entertainment, but to the detriment of society if you're talking about values and stuff like that. Because, look, we all understand that we like to be entertained, but sometimes inherently children are hearing things and it informs the way they speak and the way they dress. So ultimately, I'd love to feel that, you know, there's a self-respect and a dignity that starts to bubble up, that they start to build back on. Because that's really one thing I feel we're missing. I feel like I was watching something on the Instagram the other day, and somebody was talking about 90% of the music that we have and that we're producing, or is being produced, not whether we're producing it, but somebody's producing it. Because there are artists who say some positive things, but you don't hear them on airtime.
All right.
So the music they're playing is 90% negative.
Yeah.
Like it's either got the N word in it, the B word in it, you know, you can't get around it. Yeah. So you say these things all the time on a day-to-day basis, and it informs how you behave. And so I think that there has to be a resurgence of a character or in the industry first and foremost, so you can put out products that, you know, that will give you that will be that informative and that sort of inspirational. So every time you see something, you don't look twice at it and think about it, oh, that's interesting, this is a black doctor. No, it just is, you know, and the black doctor doesn't have to have a crackhead cousin.
Right.
It doesn't have to, this doesn't have to.
Right.
You know?
And it seemed like in Luke Cage that's what your character, like, that's what Luke was just all about. He's just like, yeah, I'm black, but like, I'm just different. I'm just my own guy doing my own thing, and it's just like, everybody just do something positive. You know what I mean? It was very, like, it was comfortable. It was very endearing to see, like, that type of character.
Yeah.
That type of role. So I like how that was portrayed. So kudos. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
We got some fans that want to ask some questions. So I would like to open the floor up for questions. We got
Captain America.
Yeah, Captain America.
Wait.
He's got the Captain America daddy beard.
Daddy beard. Yeah. But he does have the beard in his. Did he have it in the last installation or no?
I believe so.
Did he have a beard? Okay. Yeah.
Well, he doesn't have a little Hawkeye mohawk.
Yeah, he's kind of in between.
Yeah. What's going on, man? How you doing?
We're talking about you like you're not here. I can see you.
First, I just want to say thank you for coming out here. My question is, if you were given the opportunity to play Luke Cage on the big screen, which Avenger would you want to team up with?
I would say if I got a chance, I think it'd be Spider-Man, I think, or something. I think it'd be a good team up, you know, the chemistry-wise, I think it'd be good. I met Tom Holland once, he seems like a cool guy, so.
New York and
Hi, So first off, Wu-Tang forever.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
This is the guy that said he worked for Liberated.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
The one guy who will admit that he worked for Liberated. I think most people out here don't want to admit because you sit next to somebody that you don't want them to know. But I know.
Yeah, no, 3 years ago I actually worked for Liberated here as a janitor. Yeah.
Oh, janitor. That was sweet. That was a good deal.
It was indoors, like you said.
Indoors, man. That's
Oh, yeah.
Put the gloves on, you good?
Oh, yeah. Them blue
You didn't use gloves, right? You didn't use gloves.
Yes.
Okay.
No, so I was gonna ask, so I know you said that season 3 was already written, so you already know what happens, but if you had full creative control, what direction would you take season 3, being that he's now, the owner of Harlem's Paradise, and, the Nightshade characters fully developed, and where would you go in that storyline? Where would you take Luke Cage? Would Danny Rand show up to calm him down? How, if you just had access to every actor, how would you do it?
I probably would have started something between Nightshade and Luke Cage because I think she'd have been in sort of because it came from the club and Nightshade wanted the club. But I would have found a way to tie those two together, and she probably would have been trying to find a way to get it back from him. But at the same time, it would have been a very contentious relationship because she probably would have been using him, he would have been using her. I think I would have had Misty Knight basically trying to stop Luke in most cases because Luke would have been doing things he shouldn't have been doing. I would have had Luke really messing people up, really just break. I kept telling people I wanted to rip somebody's arm off and beat them with their own arm. I kept saying that. They wouldn't let me do it. I don't know why. I have no idea. I can't figure it out. It would have been so cool. I mean, we would have put an arm back on, I think.
I mean, Marvel's got a thing for putting arms back on. I think it'd be just fine.
I've been creating another supervillain. I would have ripped his arm off. Both of them. Beat him with both arms.
Everybody knows it's an arm in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, the hands arm. I would have done that. I probably would have had another fight scene with, between me and Dan Rand. It would have been cool. Another fight scene. Except this time somebody, to fight to the end, But it's my show, so you know how that would have turned out. But yeah, I just had some fun with being bad for a while. And I think that's what the intentions were. Have some fun with it. Do some things that, reprehensible, and find a way to bring it back at the end to hopefully bring it back to the point where you can trust Luke again and you understand the journey and he's better for it. People learn something, so does he. But I think it would have been a difficult turn, but I think we could have done it.
First things first, your cell phone just fell out of your pocket.
I saw that. Don't worry. I'm trying to lose it, but it just won't. Let me get it now. Go ahead, ask your question.
So here's my question: as an actor, do you have a dream list of actors or actresses or directors that you want to work with in the future?
Being in this business for a very long time, or long enough, and having had enough experiences. One of my first talking about $1 Million Baby, working with Clint Eastwood. One of those, when you start with people like that, you go, he's a generational kind of guy where it's like, he spans the golden age of Hollywood, Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, this guy. So when I worked with him, it was setting the bar really high. I was like, wow, well, where do you go from here? And for a while, every time I would think about something, it was always a comparison to that job, and it's unrealistic. It just doesn't happen. You don't get those kind of people anymore. Nobody has that sort of that freedom, the autonomy in this business to do stuff. Everything is run by boards and a lot of producers, a lot of executives, a lot of network, a lot of feedback. Very, very unlikely you can find a visionary who can execute their vision because there are so many people who think they can do what he's doing. And so it's a very complicated thing. So now, saying that, what I want to say is that now that I've been in the business a while, I find that I discover people that no one's ever heard of, and I find that sometimes those people are the most innovative and the most fun people to work with. Sometimes I meet people who I really think I really want to work with, and I meet them and I go, oh, absolutely not. And it's not nothing to do with their talent, but I know life is too short. Life is too short, and I'm at a point right now where it's not that I don't give up, anymore. It's that I don't want to work with people that I don't feel like being around on a day-to-day basis. And it's a tough thing to say, because we got to work together. And I work with people sometimes, and luckily the project's short, it turns out well, people think everything's great, it's fine. But you're choosing, you're asking me, who do I want to work with? If I have a chance, I've been lucky and recently working on projects and recently working on this pilot, which I hope goes because I really enjoy the cast, I enjoy the producers, I enjoy working with the Kings. I hope it goes, so that would be awesome. But in any event, anytime I pick up a job, a lot of times I don't know who I'm working with sometimes prior to getting on set, or I know a few people, but or maybe none at all. That's kind of half of it. Half of it is you're gonna work with them, and I gotta tell you, when you meet people that you don't want to work with and they have, for whatever reason, it grinds you. It makes the whole experience bad for everybody. So that's my first thing. I love talented people, but I also like kind people or people who are decent and understanding and humble enough to understand that what we're doing, we're all happy to do it. We're all lucky to do it. Let's not think about ourselves take ourselves too seriously, and let's go home. I don't want to be on set with somebody who's in a trailer. Don't want to come out of the trailer. That's not what I'm not interested in that. Because I'll go home. I will. If you don't come out of the trailer, I'm going home. Okay? We don't play that.
How you doing?
I'm sure. I was wanting to know, you've worked with some really amazing people on different film projects, and I didn't know if you would be comfortable telling us about a time where you felt really starstruck when you met one of your co-stars before.
Well, no, but I guess the most starstruck I've ever been is meeting Clint Eastwood. That was because I grew up watching Clint Eastwood movies. I grew up watching all these great movies and westerns and Any Which Way You Can, Any Which Way You Lose. All these cool movies and I didn't meet him when I got the job. A casting director named Phyllis Huffman, who passed away about I think 2008 or maybe somewhere around the time of 2008, I think. She was instrumental because she cast all those films, and she was a supporter of mine, a fan of mine, and she helped me to get several jobs, including Million Dollar Baby. Well, when I got cast, it was off of tape because Clint doesn't do the in-room audition, kind of like Woody Allen. Some people just don't do it. I love that because it takes the pressure off of the actor, and they don't. And as a byproduct, they don't also have to be in the room with an actor who's a little starstruck or nervous or anything like that. It's easy for everybody. You're in a room. By yourself, you can work, you can relax. So when I met him, I was getting a makeup test when I was in a trailer. He pops up behind me, comes in the trailer, and he's eating a banana, and he's just, casual, cool, sits down, and, how you doing, kid? And I'm like, good. Thanks for the opportunity, Mr. Eastwood. Don't call me, Clint. It's or call me Clint, boss, whatever people call me, either one. Which is, I'm like, most people call him boss or Clint. I don't know, either, whatever. I don't know what to call you. Just happy to be here. So that's what's that. So again, bar's high, kind of makes it very, very easy for the rest of your career because you go, oh, well, all right, met Clint. So what else is new? You know what I mean? So that helps. Thanks.
I have a quick question for you. How long have you play Luke Cage?
How long? 4 years now. About 4 years. That was an easy one. Thank you, man. I appreciate the easy ones. It's good. It's like a layup, layups. Extra point.
Hello, my name is Sean. It's very nice to meet you. It's a big honor. My question is, I know you won the All-Star game with some comedians, actors, and fellow NBA players. What was any interesting story you had over the weekend?
Oh man, that was a good weekend. Big, interesting story.
Check Twitter.
Well, when we got there, for me, I hesitated to play because I had really rolled my ankle about a month earlier, pretty hard because I play in the weekend sometimes when I'm in LA and I don't have time. And I rolled my ankle really bad. I was like, I heard a pop. It was like, ooh, it was bad. I was like, ooh. And so it was swollen for about a little more than a week. So my manager called me about this and I was thinking to myself already, I was going, ooh, playing basketball with these guys. How good are they? And my ankle's rolled out. I just was not feeling like I was going to do this. A couple weeks, I said, let me think about it. And then a couple weeks later, they were still asking you, we got to decide, are you going to do it or not? And I said, how many opportunities am I going to have to do this? Will I want to do it? Will I be able to do it another time? just go ahead and do it. You wanted the All-Star Weekend. It's in North Carolina. I'm from South Carolina. My family can come up and see me. It'll be a chance to see my family again. You know, ready kids. So I said, yeah. I think the most interesting part of the game was probably, or the whole thing was that we got there. There are certain people who were like, oh, I gotta get an MVP. Like that was what they came to do. Like Quavo from Eagles. He was like, I'm coming to get. But he played before. And he was so that was their thing. They were like, I gotta score. I need to win. And and then Famous Amos was on our team. He was like, that's what they came. And they ball a lot. They play a lot of basketball. So that was the thing. It wasn't fixed, but we were like, we're going to get these guys the ball. They're going to shoot a lot, and then they're going to score and stuff like that. And also, when we started playing, the first thing I realized that nobody's setting up any kind of offense. It's like, no, I post up, I kick it down to me, I collapse the defense, I kick it back out to you, you get an open shot. Come up the court, you shoot it, you get a rebound, you run the floor. I mean, just back and forth, back and forth. My first shot was a bank shot 3. I was like, I was the nerves. I was like, but it went in. So I started getting off the bank shot 3. I called it, but they didn't hear me. And then I think I finished with a double-double. We had a good time. We got the score about, I think we were leading by 20-something points, and we were having a good time. And then they started coming back, and Ray Allen was on their team, and Ray Allen was, shooting as Ray Allen does. And but when I was guarding him, I think he was like 2 for 3 or something like that. Or no, sorry, like 2 for 5. Like the percentage was pretty good when I was guarding him. I'll say that. I don't know how much I had to do with that, but I'm claiming that.
You can claim that.
I'm claiming that.
You shut down Ray Allen. You can claim that.
He said that. I didn't say that. Nobody shuts Ray Allen down. Nobody shuts him down. Nobody puts Big in the corner. You know that.
Fair enough.
So that was fun, and we won. So it came down to a 2-point game. It was 81-79, which is the most points in an celebrity All-Star game ever. We came down to 2 points. I got the rebound. We went down the floor. It was a struggle. It was a loose ball. We had a jump ball. I got the jump ball. We ran the clock out. It was great. It became very interesting by the end. So I had a good time.
Speaking of running the clock, unfortunately, this will be our last question, but we'll get this one right quick, yeah.
So knowing that there's a lot of Marvel fans here, I was wondering if the Defenders and the Avengers are going to do crossover, and if so, how many selfies would you take with them?
With the Avengers? Well, I guess I gotta get everybody done now, don't I? Alright? Okay, we we got time, I'm gonna get everybody. Alright? Cool, man.
Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen,